Hey folks, what's going on? It is Tiff here, and I am joined with one of my good buddies, Erick Gelhaus. Erick, how are you today?
So far, so decent. I survived physical therapy, and now I'm talking to you.
That is a good start. I'm sorry you have to take the dive back into talking to me, but hopefully this won't be too painful. Let's start by getting you to introduce yourself to all the TACCON family.
So, Erick Gelhaus, my second year teaching at TACCON, probably, I don't know, like my sixth or seventh being there for it. I've been fortunate to do a bunch as a student before Tom invited me. Um, Prior military, retired cop, did the academic route in college, at least made it through grad school. Um, Gun writer, don't hold that against me. Uh, I've been teaching a gun site for 20 years, and now that I'm not doing the cop thing, I have my own company. So that's kind of it, I guess.
Nice, that'll work. And the name of your company is?
Oh, it's Cougar Mountain Solutions.
There you go. All right. Very cool. So, speaking of the grad school thing, I'll just throw a little teaser out there for one of the panels you're sitting on, our favorite research studies, which is a nerdy title for a bunch of nerdy guys who are all nerdy in
Yes,
the best possible
yes.
way. We just came up with the subtitle for that class. What was the subtitle?
Our nerd stuff,
Nerd
nerd
nerd stuff
science,
applied, I
nerd
think.
stuff applied. That was it.
Nerd stuff applied, which is awesome. So that one will be let's see, Friday afternoon, and it's Erick, Lee Weems, and John Hearn. And
Yeah.
you guys, if you're not feeling the nerddom just emanating from that lineup, then you haven't been around these three enough. But I'm hoping to get Hearn and or Weems on to talk about that. So that's just a little teaser. We'll come back to that in a bit. What I want to focus on today are the classes that you are teaching all by your lonesome because there are several of them. You are an ambitious guy.
I
And one
keep
of the
saying or, and it doesn't always work out, it
no,
seems.
you and Chuck Haggard, I've got to make you guys understand when you send Tom options, if they're all amazing, which of course they will be, he's going to accept them all. So you've got, let's see, let's start with ready positions versus bad guy behaviors. That's my abbreviated title for your classroom block on Friday at
Yeah.
10:15. Tell us what folks are going to learn there.
So ready positions and better outcomes is probably a better title for it, but that's going to be a bit of science research stuff, looking at use of force decision making, looking at ready positions and how those influence outcomes. Right? Can the ready position you use, where that muzzle is in relation to the bad guy, can that influence the outcome? Right?
Awesome. I love it. Nice little elevator pitch there. Nice and short and sweet. I love the whole concept of this class because I find editorializing a little bit here, not that you asked for my opinion, that far too many folks focus on stuff other than the ready position. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of folks don't even teach it, and they'll go through a whole 2 day class and 1,000 rounds, never ever drawing to the ready, always going straight on target. So I love that you're choosing to focus on this topic. Underappreciated, oftentimes misused, I think might be fair to say. So, folks, if you have not heard this information from Erick, or if you've not heard an instructor as awesome as he is talk about just the ready position and how it applies, you better find yourself in classroom 2 at 10:15 on Friday. All right, let's move right on to Saturday at 10:15. You're going to be participating on a panel with John Dobb and Lee Weems called The Aftermath. Tell us about that.
Yes. So that was Lee. Lee kind of conceived that last year, and John, Lee, and I did it for the first time. So John and I were both involved in shootings. I know you just had John on, but if folks don't catch it, John was involved in a citizen defensive shooting. I was involved in an on-duty law enforcement shooting. Lee was in a position to kind of supervise some officer-involved shooting investigations. And what we're doing is talking about our experiences in the aftermath of those, what we encountered, what we went through, what our families encountered, not as a warning, but more as a preparation, right? Like, hey, these are the worst case scenarios that you could encounter on the backside of it, to just so that folks have a little bit better understanding of what they could experience, could run into.
And I'll say it to you, I said it also to John. I really appreciate you all being willing to share that, because I know that it'll be super helpful to a lot of folks who maybe haven't given enough thought to all of that. As John said, the defensive scenario lasts a couple of seconds, and the aftermath lasts your entire life. So thank you for sharing, being so generous with your experiences. We appreciate that. Let's see, moving right along down the list of Gelhaus classes. I love it. I love it. Blocked and broken red dots. This is a live fire class that you're revamping from last year. I love it, because how old is the red dot versus irons, and red dots are going to go down in the rain and all that. How old is that? Almost as old as 9mm versus 45, right?
Yep.
So tell us about that class.
So the idea behind the class is, if the dot goes down, if it gets blocked, if anything happens to it and it stopped working, how do you stay in the fight with it? And we're going to introduce what happens if you get a battery failure, what happens if you get a mounting failure, what if you tripped and fell in the mud beforehand, which I've seen folks do in other class, not in a blocked class, but in another class, and now they can't see the optic. And then also to, what if it rains? Because dots will die in the rain spontaneously. No, I'm kidding. They don't. But how to deal with that too, right?
Did you see Jedi's post on that?
No.
He posted a picture of his red dot with rain all over it, and he's being super sarcastic, like, "Oh, I'm gonna die."
we did a video this summer down at Gunsight where we were teaching the dot classes, and we got rain in like July or August, and so we actually did a block on getting rain on the optics in the rain, and like, yeah, it works just fine. Don't worry about it.
Awesome.
But we take that mystery away.
Well, we appreciate it. We are glad. So don't miss it. Blocked and broken red dots. That one is Action Bay 4 on Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. All right, and last but not least, we go to Boomstick Land. Tell us about Reactive Shotgun, which starts at 3 o'clock, just after the final shoot-off for the pistol match on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, good. I can make the shoot-off, which I'll probably only be there for as a spectator. Anyway, Reactive Shotgun. So it's looking at using the shotgun in a home defense role, not out like law enforcement would use it, where you're trying to find people and find encounters. It's, you're at home, you're at work, you're wherever, and the event has come to you, and how do you work the shotgun within those parameters, where it's moving to cover, it's defending places, it's how do you get, well, let me back up, how do you get the gun into action when it's stored for the house, not walking around with it loaded and on a sling, and then moving to cover, moving rearward to cover. So it's kind of that perspective on more of a home defense, business defense role with the shotgun.
Perfect. I love it. So, folks, if you haven't yet had your fill of Erick Gelhaus, you are in luck, because he is bringing all of his awesomeness back to TACCON, and I cannot wait. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you taking the time to do this video, and I look forward to seeing you in Dallas in March.
Tiffany, you're way too kind, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's only a few months from now.